Okay, bit of a ramble today, so just bear with me. And yes, I look very strange. I'm one of these people who gets seasonal affective disorder. So I'm using these devices called retimers, and they're used by people who travel a lot and get jet lag, and also for people who get seasonal affective disorder. So between September and March each year, for 1 hour in the morning, I look like a dickhead. That's just part of the fun of having seasonal affective disorder. The weird thing about these things is that the green LEDs, they reflect back off my cat's eyes. So if I see my cat first thing in the morning, he's got these like green, glowing, staring eyes looking back at me in some kind of like weird, demonic way, which is great if you like that sort of thing. Gave me a heart attack when I first saw that. It was daft. Anyway, some of the people who traditionally watch my stuff here on YouTube often have some connection with the occultic or pagan community. That's just the way in which it's been, it's developed. And what I've been doing is I've been reflecting back on, I guess, everything that happened to me up to about the age sort of like 23 or 25 when I was hanging out in those environments. And I mean, obviously I'm 44 now. I've had the chance to grow and to think and to, emotionally and spiritually and psychologically heal an awful lot from all the difficult things I went through in those times, because I got into that environment for particular reasons. I wanted to understand the experiences I'd had and to try and get some kind of influence over them and to see whether there was some kind of way in which I could use that for my health, really. And of course, when I was in those environments with those people, I didn't really get what I was looking for. I think this is quite common and frequent cause, for my work as a tarot reader, dealing with people who've done the same thing. Has shown it's quite common that people get involved in, the world of the weird because they've got specific key issues that they're looking to address. They often find it very difficult to discuss these things with the people they're coming across. So that makes things more difficult for them because they can't get a communication and a conversation going about their particular key issues and what particular methods they should be using to try and deal with their problems. Okay, whether it's medical, whether it's psychological, whether it's emotional, whether it's to do with feelings of loss, whether it's to do with skill development or whatever. So that's a problem in its own right, and I think that's quite endemic to the whole New Age occultic and pagan communities. Alright, and also there's lots of people who want to promote themselves as being an expert but don't have the knowledge and understanding to actually do anything constructive when there's a very real, very genuine problem that someone's got, which is also endemic to the culture and is a problem, quite a serious problem, really. So what people find themselves doing is getting involved with people who are promoting themselves as being experts for the purpose of trying to glean some kind of knowledge, wisdom or skills that they can then use in their life. This doesn't usually work out. What usually happens, and I think that is quite common now, is that people end up becoming an actor in the fantasy world of the person that they're approaching. And that means that time gets wasted and more damage gets done and more problems start to be developed. So if I was to talk to anyone out there, I would say, don't look to anyone within the occultic or New Age or occult or pagan community for, to be your guiding light or to direct you on your path, because you just end up talking to someone who is either just as ignorant as you, and therefore it's the blind leading the blind, or someone who's got other issues that they are themselves trying to address, and they'll try and address them through possibly hurting you. And I think that this is something that you need to be aware of, because you're dealing with a human being, and human beings are riddled with problems. And that's one of the reasons why, there are some people who would be happier doing a Ouija board seance than talking to another human being. which is also another problem. After a while, you learn to participate with people, but not discussing essentially your thoughts, your feelings, your values, and your beliefs. And I think that's one of the things I learned from finding a beneficial religious community for myself. I discovered that nobody in it ever discusses matters of religion or spirituality at all. And that's the only real reason that the community can stay together, really. They also don't discuss politics, okay? So, I mean, people often say, like, you don't discuss politics or religion in a pub. I think it would be great if the, you know, if the pagan community wants to survive and to grow, it's got to stop being a place where people go and discuss spiritual issues or religious issues or whatever, and leave that up to the individual to work out for themselves. And then it would probably work out quite nicely, and it could probably grow and become quite a, you know, a useful, socially appropriate culture. But it doesn't have that at the moment, really. One of the other things that often happens with religious and spiritual groups is that there are assumptions as to what it's all about. And those assumptions become quite powerful, and people get very emotionally connected to them. And that's and that becomes a challenge, because it creates loyalty, and loyalty stops freedom of thought. Loyalty stops working things through. Identity or identifying stops rational thought as well. We all, as humans, are still very primitive mammals, and we seek a tribe, we seek a culture, we seek to be a part of something, because that's kind of like a safe space. But it doesn't really help you, and in fact that can do you a lot of harm. Alright, people seek political safe spaces, people seek environmental safe spaces, people seek all kinds of things, and often we're making mistakes through doing so. So, you know, we end up with more challenges than we end up with solutions to our problems. And I just wanted you aware of that right now. Never seek a mentor. Instead, look out for the answers yourself.